Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton, and along with me is my counterpart, the diminutive demon of speed, Bethany McChesney.
Hello.
And today's a little bit different because you are not the youngest looking person we have here today.
Yes.
Right.
The last one you called me old, so you balanced it
out. You called yourself old. I merely agreed, and it was your birthday. So, I mean,
okay, you're right.
We actually have with us Cam Tucker. And Cam's okay?
Yep, Cam's fine.
All right. So why don't you give us a little background on who Cam is, Bethany?
So Cam is a young competitor in obstacle course racing, and she competed in her first elite division in a Spartan race last year in Jacksonville. So coming up to Jacksonville again this year, that was 1 year ago. And Cam was the winner in the 3K at NORAM's last year. And what's really impressive about that is that you would have beat out up to 19-year-olds when you were 14 to win that, correct?
Yes, I was actually 13 at that time, like almost 14. So yeah.
Wow. And you were beating 19-year-olds to win that podium.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
You're super modest. Yeah. And last year in Jacksonville, you came 20th in your first elite race.
Yes. Yeah.
That's super awesome. So tell us about your first experience then coming into the elite wave of a Spartan race.
Yeah, so it was kind of like overwhelming at first. Like the hardest part was probably getting over the wall, like into the starting corral, because you're there with like a bunch of pro women that you've like seen and heard about and like watched race before. And like I literally went over the wall right after Lindsay did. Like she jumped over and then I jumped over and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the starting crowd with like all these people. But once the race started, it was like just Spartan racing.
Yeah, you're just in your zone and doing your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how did you make the decision then that, because this is the issue then we have sometimes with women, is how do we convince women to go into the elite heat? They'll race age group, they'll do well. So what was it then for you that you're like, I'm going to move up and I'm going to take the step and I'm going to race elite?
Yeah, so I knew that I eventually wanted to race elite and be competitive at it, like in the long run. And I thought, like, why not just do it now? Because running with like people that are like better than you will help you get better. And it's just more challenging and just like overall a better experience to be running with those people. So that was my main reason for doing that.
Good for you. Yeah, you said it. That's exactly what we say too. That's how you get better, right? You have to run with the best. So that's and it's super brave of you too, just even at your age, because there's girls who aren't as young as you and with much more experience who are still nervous to make that step. So I think that's pretty rocking of you.
So going back to when you were an NORAM, not OCRWC, it's really the same thing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you're going back there, obviously now and I've seen a couple of Instagram videos and now you're very solid on your obstacles. I mean, you're doing really well with that. So it's a bit different. And what would you say is a strength for you? Is a course like that suit you better, or does the Spartan course, which is more orientated to technical running, is that more your specialty? Mm-hmm. What do you figure better for your advantage?
Yeah, so I used to do like Ninja Warrior type competitions. So I had like the pretty good background for the NORAM type obstacles. So that at that time was a pretty big advantage for me because I was still competing in that. I am no longer competing in Ninja because of COVID and just all sorts of things, so wanting to focus on OCR more. I still think that I have an advantage on the like more technical obstacles, but I love technical running as well. And I train that often. So it really depends.
So you're just going to crush them either way. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is. I'm just smash them all. I did a lot of ninja competing myself. So I know what that's like where you have that. And I found for me, and I don't know if this is for you, when I went from ninja to obstacle course racing, the one nice thing was I used to sit in there in my head and try to plan how to get through every obstacle that I was going to see on an OCR course. But then when I started competing ninja, I didn't think about the obstacles on the OCR course anymore. I just had to focus on trying to run because the obstacles were just going to be nice and easy.
Yeah. like the rings and stuff, when I first went to Spartan, it was like, oh, this is a breeze compared to like all these really complicated holds that I had to use for like ninja stuff. So yeah, it was a definite advantage, and I had the grip strength from rock climbing. So that was nice.
So you've kind of built yourself into this whole OCR mode. Like you've done all these things that everybody does to train OCR, and you're officially 15 now, correct?
Yes, I'm 15.
Okay, so where did you start? Did you start with the running? Did you start with the ninja? Was it rock climbing? How did it all go from the beginning?
So when I was younger, I've done soccer since I was like little up until now. I still do it. And I also do gymnastics, which kind of led into the climbing thing because I had like decent upper body strength as a gymnast. And then from climbing led to ninja, and then ninja to Spartan. It just kind of all followed like that.
Yeah, but you've got great pace. There's got to be some solid running in there. Or it was just soccer. That was it.
Yeah. So soccer was up until basically middle school. And then when I was in middle school, I started running cross country for my school. So that was when that first came in. And I'd always been like kind of like on the fast side for soccer because I was small and just like could run. But I started doing cross country and then track, and just really focusing on the running portion of it, and then doing trail racing and like 5Ks and stuff to just like prepare for OCR.
And who turned you in that direction? Because a lot of times people don't even know about OCR, they don't even see it. So, and that's what I find. I mean, I have a younger son. If it wasn't for me, he'd have no idea what it was. How did you get turned on? Who pointed you in that direction?
So we have like a kind of ninja gym in our in Charlotte, and we found out about that, and from I think like my aunt bought us a pass there or something, and we went there and we loved it because like we've been rock climbing and just loved climbing on all sorts of things. So we went there and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. It's like all these like upper body and technical things that we love doing. So we did that, and then my dad found out about Spartan from one of the employees there, and then we signed up for a race, and yeah.
The rest is history. Now, and you've done a trifecta as well, which I find super impressive because the beast is fairly long to race for someone of any age. So do you do a fair amount of mileage then in your running?
At the moment, not a lot, but I did when cross country season was at its peak. I was having like probably like 20 miles a week, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're in school and can't like run during the school day, it's like pretty much as much as you can get. So I also do like long runs on the weekends because I have more time then. So I'll go to like this like park, and they have like a 4.5 mile course. So I'll just do that like twice or something to get like a long run in for the weekend. Yeah.
So you're running. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Ask about the running.
I was going to say, so are you setting up your own program, or is someone coaching you?
So I used to have a coach, Bruce Jackson. He's down in Jacksonville actually, and he was what really like he trained me right before Jacksonville last year, and it was a really intense program, and it got me like really ready for that race. And I also did a half marathon, like I think right before COVID started, and I remember like being so like, oh my gosh, 13 miles, that's a lot of miles. And I did it, and I did surprisingly well. And I was really excited about that because I was like, wow, I can actually do long distance stuff. So yeah. But I'm not currently with him anymore for coaching. I'm just doing it myself because I have to work around all my other extracurriculars and stuff and homework. So it's just easier for me to do it because I know my schedule the best.
Now, one of the biggest things, and this is the main reason we really wanted to talk to you, and yes, it's great that you've come out, you've won a lot of age groups, and well, I guess you've only run 2 age groups because that's all they let you run because you came out of Spartan Kids. I know you did really well in a Savage Elite field. You got 7th there with some good names.
Yeah, I did.
But the main thing going on right now, and the reason we wanted to get this in right now or get this out really fast, is because you are throwing your hat in the ring to run in the U.S. National Series for Spartan.
Yeah, I am. Since I did it last year, I kind of like I got 20th, which I think is like pretty good for like someone my age. So I just wanted to try again. I was really hoping to like do the national series kind of last year, but that didn't work out. So I'm kind of hoping to jump right back into that and get back where I want to be.
So this will be your first Jacksonville. You are ready to go. This is your first U.S. National Series race. Obviously, it's a bit different than just the regular elite race. How are the emotions for you on this? How are you feeling?
Well, I did the Jackson National Series last year.
That was the National Series where you did last year.
Yeah, that one was a National Series race. I did the age group on the age group super on Saturday, and then the elite National Series on Sunday. Yeah.
So see that she was on tired legs. All you old ladies better watch out.
Oh my
God. Now, this time are you planning to do the same? You're going to do the super beforehand?
Yeah, I'm doing the super beforehand, but I'm running it elite that time as well, just to try it out, see where I am so I can measure myself and see where I need to be.
Gosh, it's super inspiring actually that you're just kind of you're gonna race two races back to back, and yeah, that's is there anyone in particular that is a role model for you who you have really looked up to through in the sport?
Well, like Nicole Miracle, like I've talked to her a few times, not a lot though. And I look up to her a lot. She's so like dedicated to this sport, and she's so like, I don't know, she just is so inspiring, especially with the US the women's OCR development team that she's starting right now. I think that's a great idea, and I just love that she's doing that. Also Rebecca Hammond, because she's balancing OCR and medical school, or I guess her residency now. And I want to go into medical school eventually. So I love that there's someone there that's doing that. So I can like see how she's doing it. And it's just really inspiring to me to like see that someone is able to.
Yeah, balance them both. So speaking of Nicole, are you trying to get on the OCR her development program?
So I'm unfortunately ineligible to be on that team because I'm not over 18.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a crappy rule.
I
understand why she's put it there though, because the mile, like what she's expecting is like more than I could do when I'm in school. It's like 50 to 60 miles a week, which I could probably not do right now. Because I'm at school 7 hours a day plus homework and other sports and stuff. So it would just be really complicated to try to get that.
So just as a quick note, apparently they finally do have a name. It is the Dream Team now.
Yes, I saw that.
That's right. And there's a couple of different, it's like 4 different levels. I mean, it's a little confusing to be honest, but it's still all. But I mean, like there was, I can't remember the names, but I do know there was 4 levels, and some are like a community-based team. Then there's like an elite team, and then just like almost like a feeder system. But yeah, Dream Team apparently is the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got a cool little logo. I think it's going to go great. And we've talked about this before. We're super excited about how it goes. I had no idea that you would be ineligible though. I mean, like I didn't know there was that 18-year-old rule.
Yeah, I think it's like the top levels is the 18 rule. And I think I didn't realize that there were 4 other levels. I knew that there's another one. But then again, like I said, with having a coach, it's just so complicated with like being busy with school and extracurriculars that I just decided to try to focus on creating my own plan for this.
So,
and obviously,
sorry, go ahead, keep going.
And obviously, like looking at what other people are doing to train and like how the pros train, because like doing simulations and stuff with OCR specific obstacles. Like we have a pseudo ninja gym in our backyard that we created like 2 years ago. And we train on that, and it has like rings and monkey bars and stuff. So yeah.
So I find it really interesting that you're writing your own program. So do your parents race then? Are they helping you with that as well?
Yeah, so both my parents, they do Spartan in the open. They just run it that way. My dad just had surgery actually, so he isn't able to run in Jacksonville, but I'm running with my mom after the elite race on Sunday. So
So you're kind of going to race 3 times again.
Yeah. Well, and the kids, like when I was in Spartan Kids, I did like 3 to 4 races a day. So it would be really weird for me to go to Spartan to go to the venue and only do 1 race a day. 'Cause I'm used to being there like from 8 to 2 o'clock. So
You do realize your parents are awesome, right? Like that they're
yeah, they are so amazing. Like the fact that they like drive me all these places and like support me throughout this and pay for everything to get there. So yeah, they are pretty great.
Just tell them it could be worse. You could be into cheerleading and dance, and those are way more expensive than Spartan.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And gymnastics too. Like,
Yeah, gymnastics.
geez. Yeah.
So you are getting help as well from OCR Girls. Is that correct? Have they not been supporting you? Tell us a little bit about that, because I don't think a lot of people know about OCR Girls.
Yeah, so I joined the OCR Girls like 2 years ago, like the year before, no, it was 2019. So the early stages of 2019. And I've loved being on the team because Spartan or OCR is not a school sport at all. It's just not in there right now. And having a team that I know like supports me and I can have my back and I can talk to them about Spartan and like training and stuff is really great to have, because like I said, you don't have a coach that you're like going to help you train for that sort of stuff.
So when you go to school,
it's having teammates.
When you go to school, is it just like us when we go to work and we like start telling them about running through the mud and why our hands are all torn and calloused and we're bleeding from places we shouldn't be bleeding, and they all just look at us like you're a moron? Do you get the same effect?
Like I just tell people, like I have to debate, like, do I want to let them know that I do a CR? Because this is a whole conversation about like, oh, what's that? And then they're like, after, because like my friends know that I do it, obviously. So when I go and like come back from a sparring race, like, oh, how was your ninja thing? And I was like, it was fine.
They don't ask about the big bruises on your knees and the barbed wire.
Yeah, and like the shoulder ones from the bucket. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So do you have any luck convincing any of your friends to go with you to tag along? Because I mean, that's the ultimate for us, is the ultimate goal, to get more young girls like yourself involved. And well, to be honest, we're stymied. We have no idea how to do it. From your end, do you ever have any luck getting friends involved, or do they maybe try once and then run away? And
yeah, well, it's hard to convince a friend to like drive to go to a race. There's only one Charlotte race. So I actually got a friend like I think 2 or 3 years back to do a race with me, and she liked it, but she hasn't done one since because like just not her deal. But there are a lot of other up and coming kids like that I've raced with in Spartan Kids and that I know pretty well, that I'm friends with, that are coming up. So they've obviously been running that and have been spreading the word about it. So yeah.
So you think there's a good future coming up? You think there's a crop of kids like yourself that
I do.
fill the void?
Yeah, because those kids have been like I was doing Spartan since I was like 10. So like growing up through Spartan is going to make a big difference versus like having the regular track background instead of like actually doing this sport.
Do you think it would ever end up as a school sport?
That's a complicated question because like there's so much material needed for that. Like Spartan, you have to set up this whole like series of obstacles and stuff. And the most you need in like a regular school sport is just a couple balls and a goal. And like I just don't see it ever really becoming a high school sport. I would love if it would, but it just seems kind of unrealistic because the funding for that would be very difficult.
There's a lot of people we find that sometimes find one brand of OCR and stick with it. You've done a bunch of different stuff. So what's your favorite ones to do? What do you enjoy the most? Like obviously Spartan's got that competition.
Yeah. So I've done like mostly Spartan races. I've only done 2 other things. I did Savage, balloon on 2 of those, and I did NORAMs, but that's it. So I really liked the way that Savage and NORAMs does the band, because I feel like the multiple try rule gives like people an opportunity to like really work on it and like watch others do it, and it's not like game over. Then again, in Spartan, it's not game over because of the burpees thing. So there's like contraring sides to that. I just think it's very interesting.
I like her, Bethany. She's got my style.
I know.
We gotta have harder obstacles.
Yeah, Dave's a fan of the bands too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know what? I've come around a little bit. I see some of the point to the burpees where, you know, you don't want someone stuck for the sake of entertaining competition. You don't want someone stuck at a rig forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I get that, but still, to me, obstacle racing is about obstacles. So it needs you need to be able to get through it, especially in elite. If in an open, totally different and stuff like that. But in an elite way, I think you should be of the level where you can do those obstacles. And yes, sometimes people fail, but for the most part, you got to get through it.
Like when I was in the 15K for NORAMs, I got stuck at Stairway to Heaven. And the day before, I flown through that obstacle because it was in Ninja, but it started raining like right as I got to that obstacle. So I was stuck there for a really long time. And I was so frustrated because in Spartan, I would have just been able to burpee out of it and kept going. That's where I actually gave up my lead. I saw the first place person pass me, and then the second place person passed me, and I just couldn't get through the obstacle. But I eventually did. And then at that point, it was just that race was kind of a mess, if I'm being honest. It was my first long distance race, and I was not nutritionally prepared for that. Kind of bonked a little bit.
That's Stairway. When it rains, that thing is a completely different monster.
The wood gets ridiculously slippery.
Oh, like it's the same. I mean, anybody, I shouldn't say anybody, but I know like from personal experience, I'll tell you right now, my son got stuck on the same thing that same year in the team race.
Really?
Yeah, exact same spot. And he was there for like an hour, and he's competed in Ninja. He's won tons of National Ninja League events and stuff like that. But that rain, and then it started to tear his hands up, and that was it. It's just
I just kept getting stuck at the top because like reaching over when it's super wet, you have to like really pinch to get it. And at that point, I was just so tired from having tried it so many times. It was very complicated.
Did you ever think about just on the bottom rung taking like a reverse grip and trying for the lache clear cross?
Yeah, I did think about it. I thought like, how can I make this easier? But when I finally got over, I was like completely arm hooking. I was like, I'm not letting go of this obstacle. I just got over.
Oh, okay. So hold on. There's something I want to give you both grief about that I noticed. You both chicken wing Gibbons. What's up with that?
I think almost all the people chicken winged Gibbons.
No.
Okay, you did it.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. But I like
the one, if there's no rule that says you can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
It is totally okay, but I like to mock everybody for it. So
yeah,
it's just safety.
Exactly. Like there's a chance that you could do it. Like I've done in Ninja, it's called like flying bars. So I've done the flying bars in Ninja competitions. So I probably could have, but then again, I knew I could chicken wing, so I just did it that way, and I got past it faster. So
I did the 1-2 lache out. That was
nice.
That's right. I still didn't do anywhere near as well as you. The actual run, I just did good on that. Obstacles.
That's the only thing he did well in the whole race.
No, I did good on the over/under too. None of the running, placement, or anything like that. Just the hard rigs, I did really well.
Yeah, it's in the festival area, so you have to do that stuff well.
That's where all the cameras are.
Yeah. Like Valkyrie and like, oh my god, like Gaffney. I was like kind of struggling on that because my arms are very short. So reaching from one pole to the next was kind of a struggle, but you just had to learn how to use the momentum on it. And I had never done the obstacle before, so it's just try and fail.
I hear you. So what do you find then as your biggest challenges then with your age and size?
Well, I'd say it's like mostly the weight-based obstacles. So like the Herc hoist is a big struggle for me in the Atlas. So the Herc hoist weighs more than I do. So I don't have the advantage of using my weight to pull it down. So I have to like really anchor myself and like pull and use my strength instead of like body weight and technique. So that's kind of difficult. I can do it, but it just takes so much energy. And there's always the chance that if it's wet, I'm just going to have to burpee it. The Atlas, I haven't failed that one yet, but there might become a time when I do fail it. So
Have you had to flip a tire yet?
Yeah, I flipped a tire in my first race actually, because I did the trifecta weekend in West Virginia. Was my first adult race actually. So they had the tires in all three of those. So I did it then. That wasn't as big of an issue for me because the 200 pounds, like it's a big difference from like the 400 to 200, and I'd flipped the 200 before, so I wasn't really worried about that.
Yeah, well, you're only really deadlifting the 100 pounds, right? You got to get the 100. It's a 200-pound tire. You're really lifting 100 pounds. You're only lifting 100 pounds for about 6 inches, and it's getting lighter each.
And then it's just like, yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So obviously, U.S. national race Spartan Jacksonville is this weekend, and so
yes, it is.
You are picking yourself to win, I assume. So if we go beyond that, how do you think the rest of the field's going to line up? How do you think it's going to go?
I think I'll be like way down.
Okay.
So
giving you the benefit of the doubt there. So how do you think the podium will go?
I think Nicole is going to do very well, obviously. Natalie Miana, I think, is going to do very well because she got third last year and she's done well since then. And Alex Walker, who I raced in Savage, I think will also do well in that race. I'm not really sure about like who else is going to be there because a lot of people aren't going to be there actually, like Lindsay and just like Faye and people. So
those are really solid picks. I wouldn't be surprised if you bang on with that. Those are good. What about for the boys? What about for the men?
I think VJ and Kempson are going to be up there. Think that will be pretty interesting because they're both pretty fast for that, especially in Jackson. It's a very fast and short course. So I think they will be up there. And who else? Aaron Newell's not going. Who else is going? Like
Batrice, Mark
Batrice,
Leon Kofed. Who else was big on that list there? Bracken Crocker.
Yeah. I was talking about with my friends and just blanking on the names.
Yeah, without Ryan and Lindsay there, it does make a big difference.
Yeah, it does.
It opens the field up. Now, I think we're both with you. If Nicole loses, I will eat my hat. I would be surprised.
Yeah.
VJ's got to be the odds-on favorite. This has got to be his race to lose. All right. So, is there anyone that you want to shout out or thank, or that you need to,
Well, I mean, like my parents have been like the biggest thing just throughout here. They just supported me so much and just taking me all these places. Like I've gone to Las Vegas for a Spartan race. Like I think that's pretty cool. And they even offered to like I'm going to Vermont for NORAM or OCR World. This is it September? I forget when it is exactly.
It's the last weekend in September.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm going there and just like the fact that they're willing to take me and like support me throughout this is just, I just find that really cool.
So, just thought about that for a second. Are you running pro or age group in Vermont?
I've thought about it and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do age group actually in OCR Worlds. Honestly, like in Spartan, I'm going to be trying to run elite, but then again, there is the thing about like wanting to get that podium medal and just like, because like when I was in the kids, I was like consistently podiuming. So I was like getting that up, and like the podium ceremonies is something that I will miss as I go through this. But I also think that just OCR Worlds is just such a different like situation than like a random elite race because everyone's going to be there. So I don't know.
I was hoping you two could line up beside each other there.
Why, the old and the young?
That's all right. You guys look the same age. It's fine. You'll be all right.
We might be the same
I
size.
can give you lots of tips on how to beat Bethany and what you got to do. You got to tie your shoelaces together right off the start. I mean, she gets completely fine.
Are you going to be in Jacksonville?
I know, I wish. We're in Canada and we still have really strict border crossing rules.
Oh, yeah, like, yeah, okay.
Same deal
Yeah.
as Ryan and Lindsay.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Cam, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're super inspired by what you've done here, and you moving up to elite is just, it's so awesome, and we're really excited to see what you do this season. So keep crushing it. Keep giving us something awesome to talk about, and just keep inspiring the next generation.
Well, thank you.
Cool. Oh, actually, well,
Yeah.
sorry.
Interesting.
Did you sign up for Spartan Cross?
I did not. I got the email. I thought about it. Well, they're only taking 6 people.
No, but I mean, you could do the open part, right? Like, because they're having like a 6-person elite.
Oh, I didn't realize there was an.
Yeah, I
didn't realize there was an open part.
I think I heard this. They were taking like 350 people for like.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, you probably still. I'd look into it and see what you can find. But because that sounds like your wheelhouse. You know, that's a lot of upper body.
You're asking her to do an extra race. Now she's gonna do 4 races.
They can recover really, really fast. Right? You have kids. You put them to bed and like they're firecrackers. They wake up half hour later. They're all over the wall. It's great.